Tom here, FlipAnything USA. So today we're going to do a review on Dave Ramsey's reaction to Graham Stephans' $25 million investment.
It's the best thing I ever did!
I've made tens of millions of dollars in real estate, and I have done it by going into debt. I've been flipping property. I've been doing this since I was 19. I'm 60, so I've been doing this for 41 years now, and I've made tens of millions of dollars at it, and I've had a fantastic life, and there is no other way I could have gotten rich without debt, just investing in real estate in general. If you are inclined to be an investor in real estate, I urge you to watch this because you're going to get two very, very different perspectives. I don't really consider either of these guys what I would call real estate investors in the sense that it's important to the common guy, the 90% of the people that can use money to leverage and become wealthy. These guys are two money-making guys. In other words, Graham Stephans, he's not a TV personality, but he actually makes more money than most people you see on television. So he's simply converting the asset of cash and putting it into real estate. Not very much. He could be doing a lot better, to be quite honest. Dave Ramsey, on the other hand, is somebody that's been in television for many years. He's made a lot of money from television, and he's been able to take money and buy real estate, which is fine. But not everybody is in a position where they make millions of dollars a year and or sometimes millions of dollars a month like these two guys from their job. When you have that kind of a job, you can take the point of view that these guys take. And we're going to get into that and why I think it's a terrible example for the common guy that really wants to get ahead like I did.
It's the best thing I ever did!
We'll start this and start listening, and I'll throw my 2 cents in here as we go along.
So I never thought this would happen, but I was able to sit down with somebody who I've looked up to for almost a decade, Dave Ramsey.
Shut up. Don't spend more than you have.
He's one of the world's most successful authorities on personal finance, with the largest independently owned and operated radio talk show in the country, 3 New York Times bestsellers, over 1 billion views on social media, and more than $600 million worth of fully paid off real estate. And today he's...
Okay, that's pretty impressive. He has $640 million in paid off real estate. But is it so impressive if you're just converting an asset of cash into another asset form? That's why I say it's very... I get annoyed with YouTubers in general that tell people, give people financial advice that really isn't applicable. And I haven't watched this. I haven't pre-watched this video. I skimmed it barely. I'm watching it all the way through with you guys. I'll probably chop shit out in between that I think is unnecessary. Graham Stephans, by the way, nice kid, good kid. He started out as a real estate agent. He did well as a real estate agent. And then he jumped into the YouTube, and it was presumed that he had some sort of investment expertise because he was an agent, which is totally untrue. I don't think he has much investment expertise at all in real estate, and he seemed to back away from that. And I respect the guy. He's a fantastic YouTuber. I mean, he is like a rock star YouTuber. And Dave Ramsey, on the other hand, is somebody I respect too. But he talks to what I would address as a remedial investor. I think he talks to people that actually need a remedy, people that have a problem, people that don't understand math. And there's a place for him too. But as far as you guys that actually want to parlay what you have and turn it into more, I don't think either one of these guys offer much at all. Hey, also while you're here, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button. I've been doing this for 40 years. I show nobody on YouTube shows more of what they do with their investments, buying and selling. I mean, I've been covering everything in YouTube. Many sales. I made, probably $10 million here just in the last, 3 or 4 years. And as well, I show it. I show the deals that I buy. I show the deals that I sell. And I think you're gonna enjoy this. You'll learn a lot if you're interested. By the way, I am playing these guys at a faster speed so I can rip through this a little quicker. I've got a book, Wake Up and Smell the Real Estate. It's been a bestseller on Amazon, Audible, and Kindle. Be sure to get this book. I make $7 on a book. If you think I'm getting rich selling this book, you're wrong. I wrote this book. I have 4 kids. I wrote this book with the intention of it being a roadmap for my kids. And now it's a roadmap for people all over the world. It's been a bestseller. Amazon, Audible, and Kindle. Urge you to get it. If not, no problem. All right, let's get into what we're watching here.
Is critiquing every single one of my investments. So sit back, hit the like button, and subscribe if you want to see me react to all of his fully paid off investments. And now with that said, let's begin. So as the personal finance expert, I would love for you to review my portfolio. How you would improve it, or what you think I could do to make it better. and I have everything mapped out on this iPad here for you, sir.
Cost $59,500, renovation was $12,000.
This is the first property I bought. At the time, I didn't have any credit. I had 40.
I'll slow it down just a tad.
I actually went to a
What
bank.
went wrong after that?
I went to a bank, and no one would give me a loan. Insane. This is the second property that I am actually selling right now. These properties were all in California. So because I've left California, I want to begin selling off some of the holdings there.
Now that's a good move. Listen, California is a nightmare. You know, I bailed on California 30 years ago, just because the asinine way they run the state, and the taxes, I think, are 14-15% state tax. And that's probably one of the things that's going to help the economy in places like Texas and Florida, is people that are being driven out of the state by ridiculous taxes and policies out of California and out of New York.
What are you going to do with it? Drop them in 1031s and buy over and
No, most likely not. I think for the value of these, I don't want to have to be on a time constraint of finding another property. And I think for the most part, I might just pay the tax on it.
I'd roll them into a 1031. Worst case is you bail out of it and pay taxes. I just did that on a piece of property. I had some lots associated with a house that I lived in. I sold off those lots and made a $1 zillion home. And so I rolled it into a 1031. I'm not sure yet if I'm really going to follow through on it. I may end up, but I've got that period of time to mess with it.
Yeah.
Which if I don't do that, then 100% I'm locking in the tax bill.
This is the property.
Okay, so look, the advice that and they both, I'm sure, are familiar with 1031. And I actually understand if Graham doesn't want to mess with a 1031 for these pieces of property that he's got. And maybe they're just not that significantly valuable. You know, I mean, maybe there's $1 million, which is insignificant to the income that he makes. But on the other hand, Ramsey, you know, suggested that what he suggested is really makes sense. Cost you $800 to create a 1031. 1031 is going to give you the opportunity to roll your asset into another asset. So let's say you bought something for $100,000 and now it's worth $300,000, and maybe you depreciate it to zero. You're gonna pay tax on $300,000. Well, you can roll that $300,000 into another purchase with, you know, for $800 you get an accommodator, you identify a property, and you have 45 days to identify a property from the time you close the one you sell, and you can roll it into something new. What I didn't hear Dave say, which I'm a little bit surprised because this is what I would have told you, Graham, is I would say, dude, you know, assuming that I got to see how he holds the vesting of how he holds those individual assets. But if they're in the same entity, if they're all in his name, maybe they're all in one particular entity, what I would suggest you do is get a reverse 1031, because you certainly have cash, and Ramsey certainly has a lot of cash, and I'm surprised he didn't recommend a reverse 1031. What that allows you to do is go buy a property, go pay cash for it, let that be held in the accommodator's name, and then he can sell all of his properties, and assuming that they're all in one entity, he could roll all of them into that and defer all the taxes from all that property. And so let's keep watching.
Property that I think I put 20 or 25% down. I bought it for $780. I spent $60,000 renovating it. So it's out of pocket with my down payment, $210,000. Now it's worth about $1,350. So there's about almost $1 million of equity.
2017 was $585,000.
Good story with this one. So I bought this for $585,000, and you did a lot of work. So my initial loan on that was, I think, $480, but I fixed it up. Spent $220,000 fixing it up, and then I got a refinance when it was valued at $900-something thousand, and that's when I was able to pull out the $580. And this is what I call the $0 home.
And so, really, actually, he just made a fantastic case for how debt served him. He bought a property for, I don't know, he said $500,000-$600,000, put $200,000 down, and now the asset's worth double what he had paid for it. So it was a decent investment, and it wouldn't have happened without debt.
Because I was able to live here for free. I pulled out all of my down payment that I put in the property, got it back. So I was $0 in the property. The property cash flowed, and between all the write-offs I got by using the garage as a studio, the rent on the other side, and living there, it was completely free.
Mostly, but you live out opportunity cost. I mean, you could put that cash in your pocket if you had rent out there somewhere else.
Kind of, because I was able to use that to then buy this duplex, which was a few blocks away. Came up as a really good deal. They marketed this incorrectly. So I saw it come up, and they marketed it as a 1-bedroom, 1.5 bathroom. But it looked so good in the pictures that I had to see it. So I show up there and I realized that, wait a second, if you just put up one wall, all of a sudden it's a 2-bedroom on each side. And the price for a 2-bedroom would have been significantly more. Without one little change and just calling it a 2-bedroom, the rents increased by 50%.
So I give kudos to Graham on that. He, and this is something that is not uncommon, is that the real estate agents, and that's why I don't really consider real estate agents and investors in general, they make a lot of mistakes, is they misrepresented the property in a way that didn't suit the seller. And so you as the buyer come in and you take advantage of their mistake. And in this case, they squandered an opportunity to sell a property as a 2-bedroom, and they sold it as a 1 and turned off a lot of people that didn't show up. He showed up. He figured it out. So good job.
Just because of that one change, the value went up significantly.
It's a sweet deal.
Then this is the first place that I bought for myself. I went from living in a duplex that was 800 square feet to this, but the cost was 2.1. I put almost $1 million down on that, just so I could have a low payment. But the loan I got was 2.875, 30-year fixed.
You know, you should do like a YouTube channel. You're kind of good at
I
this.
should. And then after staying there for a year, I bought this place in Las Vegas. And this is where I live now. So basically the left half of the house is all studio, and then the right half is all living space. This is what I've really been working on for the last 2 years is diversifying into stocks. The majority of it is 80% S&P 500, 20% international. And then I do have some individual stocks, and those are the 5 largest holdings.
We tell folks not to have more than 1% of your net worth in single stocks because a lot of people get to play single stocks. The numbers out there on the individual buying and selling single stocks to build wealth are horrendously bad. They're really bad.
Yeah, I tell you, my stocks are on my shelves. The money made in stocks doesn't even come close to the money that you can make in real estate if you know what you're doing.
Don't stop and listen. Time is on a mission to eliminate all the snake oil and the fake gurus that fake y'all. They'll show you how to build an empire, starting with nothing but a desire. All you really need is a good mentor, not a used car bullshit. With time, you'll learn to crush it. Investing like Warren Buffett. With real estate, you cannot procrastinate. Everyone who hesitates is left at the starting gate. Hey, yo, so don't delay and join today. The Mentorship and Flip Anything USA. Go.
So that's FlipAnything USA is my mentorship program. You can go to FlipAnythingUSA.com, check it out. And again, please hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and let's continue.
Single stocks because I don't track it. I almost spend the time on fooling with them. I would become obsessed with it. It would drive me nuts. But you got a small percentage of your total net worth in this, and as long as it doesn't take up a large percentage of your time for that small percentage of your net worth to screw with those singles, then they're fine. I don't have an opinion about Google or Apple or whatever because I don't even try them.
We got 450 grand in crypto, and that's been highly volatile. I think at the peak, that was about $1 million. It's down to about 450. It's slightly below my cost basis now. So I have more invested overall than it's worth.
So, see, and this is the shame of crypto. Crypto, to me, I call it shitcoin. Bitcoin is a nightmare. And, it just timed out right. We're giving tons of money away to dummies, and I'm talking about young people that make under $60,000 or don't make anything at all. The government really squandered a ton of money. They should have only been helping people that didn't have a job, that needed work, not just say everybody gets a participation trophy as long as they make under 60. So you had all this money squandered, and people threw it into Bitcoin trying to get rich. And the people that were smart, that understood that they were trading turds, got in early, pumped it and dumped it. And now you can see someone like Graham. This is the shame with Graham for me, and I don't even know Graham's history on this, but he says he's upside down in his crypto, so he paid too much for it. So he spent whatever. He's got $450,000 worth of crypto, and it's not worth what he paid for it. So the shame in that is he said that it was worth up to $1 million at one point. And so my guess is young people following him got excited about crypto when he told people that he doubled his money. And when he said, yeah, look at this, I put my, whatever, maybe put $500,000 in crypto or whatever he did, and now it's worth $1 million. Other kids jump in, boom, crypto goes down to half. Graham, that makes, certainly $5 million a year. This is nothing. This doesn't even hurt. But if you're somebody else that put 20 and now you lost it and now you got 10, ouch, that's really tough. I hate to see your seed capital be burned by you young guys. And that's why I urge you to get in my mentorship, get my book, Wake Up and Smell the Real Estate. It'll be the best $10 you ever spent. If you don't like it, you can send it back for a refund. Okay, it's that good. And people have done so well. You look at the testimonials on my site, you'll see I've got several millionaires that have become millionaires in just 1 year. I got a guy that's made over $3 million in 2 years. And other people have made 10,000, 20,000, 100,000, 500,000. Very, very high success rate. Urge you to check it out. And let's get back to this show.
If you're willing to let that kind of money just evaporate and just disappear, and you can emotionally accept that, and your portfolio can accept that blow, and you want to screw with it, that's fine. I personally don't do anything like that.
This is what I just said. That basically, yeah, if you got money to throw away, yeah, go ahead, throw it away. It ain't going to hurt you. I mean, I wouldn't do it. Dave wouldn't do it. I wouldn't either. It's just a waste of money. It's like gambling, bottom line. So look, there's a time to stash cash. When you're in the beginning, you really don't have it. You have to leverage. Look, I've taken 10, turned it into 20, 20, turned it into 40, and on and on and on. That's how I started. I started with very little investments. And in fact, in the beginning, I didn't have any money, so I had to find a partner. And I would have rather borrowed the money at 20% from somebody than have a partner, but I didn't have those options. So I took a partner, and that's like paying 50% interest on annually. It's worse than that. If you flip something and you give them half, it comes up way worse than that. But the bottom line is, if you can't afford something, if you can find the deal and then you find somebody else that has the money, maybe they'll be your partner or maybe they'll loan it to you. Certainly don't worry about paying 10, 20% interest to somebody if you're about to make 100% on your investment. I've done that. Flipping property. And that's why, you have to flip. You have to turn property in the beginning in order to build up your cash reserves. And then pretty soon you'll have enough cash. You can take a portion of that and buy stuff, borrow from the bank, and maybe have a nice fat return.
Now, at what point do you begin to realize that maybe you're holding too much cash and it's better to deploy it somewhere?
You've got a lot of properties. You need some cash position to protect yourself on those angel investments.
So these are spread throughout 6 fintech companies that I've been building up for the last 2 years. I'm not counting it in my net worth. If I were to put a value on it today in terms of what someone might offer for it, I just threw that number there.
This is it's icing. It's play money.
Okay, so he's an angel investor. So he's thrown about $5 million into 6 startup companies. Chances are he'll lose the money, to be quite honest. That's kind of how it works. That remains to be seen. But again, he's got $4 million in the bank, and he's got, a fair amount of real estate paid for. I can tell you, because I've made so much money in real estate, I have had the opportunity to go into endeavors that maybe I probably shouldn't have in hindsight because I didn't make as much money or I lost money on some, but they weren't real estate. Real estate's what I know. I wouldn't beat him up on this. If he's throwing it out something, maybe he threw into something that's going to be the next eBay or who knows what.
So this is something that I've actually gotten really into because I love cars and watches, and my philosophy is that if you buy the right car at the right price, you should be able to drive and enjoy it for free. So these 3 cars for me, the Ford GT was something that I saw as a great value about you.
Okay, good investment. I love the Ford GT as well. And this is what he uses as his prop car behind himself. So certainly this looks a whole lot better than those goofy little cars he used to have in his garage. I'll give him an A on this. Whether he loses money or not, it doesn't matter. That's a nice backdrop to have behind him as a YouTuber, and he's been a very successful YouTuber. So putting something like that behind him, in fact, I'm in my studio and I'm thinking about getting something decent. That would probably be one of my first choices too. I like it.
A year and a half ago, so I paid $300 for it. And that Ford GT, by the way, has been the best investment that I've made over the last year and a half, 2 years. Tesla.
That's a little bit sad. That's the best investment. Maybe it went up to $400,000. I don't know.
And there's my debt, $4,020,000. It's all 5 mortgages, 30-year fixed between 2.75 and 3.6.
Well, I've been walking with people with $10 million net worth, $1 million, and spending time with them studying. First I started studying millionaires, which we don't want to be one, and then I started studying pickup millionaires. Now I'm studying billionaires. Rich people always kind of enamored me. I thought they had some kind of special sauce or something. They had
Superpower.
They have superpower. That's it. There's some kind of secrets to the rich. And it's always disturbed me a little bit that there aren't any secrets. Because I wanted there to be this theme that if you went looking for it, you could find it.
Yeah, I would say there is a little bit of secret. The secret is discipline. Discipline.
It's the iced coffee, by the way. Yeah. That's the secret.
That's it. That's the secret. So, but what I found with them that kind of set me free to be me was that the vast majority of them don't do anything super sophisticated. Matter of fact, it's kind of ridiculously primitive. I mean, your portfolio is very sophisticated compared to most people that I run into. You got a lot of, you put a lot of thought to it. I mean, you do this for a living. That's what you do. So you obviously.
And so look, to Graham's credit too, if he's got $25 million, I mean, he's in California. He had to have made 50 to end up with 25, not counting, what he's, maybe made on his real estate. It doesn't, to me, look like a very significant real estate holder. He doesn't own that much real estate, bottom line. But he has, or it doesn't appear that he's bought that much real estate. What I was going to say is, for him to have $25 million, if his investments have been mediocre, and kind of mostly seems like what they have been, looks like he's made a few million, he would have had to make $50 million income, his own personal income, in order to have a leftover of $25 million in California. Because by the time you pay your state and federal tax, they take half they take half, and so it's an impressive amount of money that he's got. But this is one of the reasons why I have a problem with guys like Graham giving people investment advice, because they are in fantasy land. They are making fantasy money, and the way they're making their money is not available to everybody else. I mean, sure, somebody else might be a good YouTuber. In fact, Meet Kevin, I think, befriended him and became a fantastic YouTuber. But again, listen, you got a better chance of going to Hollywood and becoming a movie star as you do probably being a YouTuber at his success rate. So anyway, all I'm saying is, these aren't the guys to take investment advice from. Really aren't. unless you fall into that remedial class of people that actually have an investing problem. They don't know how to control their money, which is like Sue Zorman is one of those, and I believe Dave Ramsey too. I never see them making any kind of suggestions. Like he went in the beginning, don't go into debt.
Don't spend more than you have.
Don't spend more than you have.
That's some brain power. But they find something that they like and that they understand and that they're good at, and they do it a lot. So I'll find a guy that's a farmer, and he's just buying farmland. Your giftings are much more in the real estate world than they are in analyzing stocks. If we're going to put a portfolio together of your knowledge base, it would be 80% real estate, 20% stock, maybe?
Yeah, and I would argue with that. I don't think that's his strong suit at all. I don't think real estate is Graham's strong suit at all, and certainly not stock. But I understand between those two, certainly he's done better on real estate than he's done on stocks and the Bitcoin crap that he bought. But really, maybe he'll say it, but what Dave isn't recognizing is that he has made his money on YouTube, making income from YouTube. It's his job. That's what he's best at.
It's okay if your portfolio is real estate heavy if I'm in business. I'm a real estate guy. I grew up mom and dad in the real estate business. I got my license like you did when I was 18 years old. I sold all my real estate, broke into business, started buying again. I've got probably $600 million worth right now, like that, paid for. So I love real estate. My portfolio is way out of balance.
Here's the thing you have to keep in mind. So he's got $640 million in real estate. No small number. But how much has he made on TV over the last 30 years? If he's made $300 million and he's just took the money that he's made and just put it into real estate, I mean, doubling your money on your real estate is not a significant accomplishment. To just have doubled your money is not a great deal. So in other words, we're not going to get those numbers from these guys, but I can tell you, Graham, it's just a little easier because he's younger and figured it out. Dave, I don't know for sure. I don't know what his history is of making money. I know he's been around a long time, but again, he's just simply changing the form of his asset from cash into real estate. And I'm sure he's had some appreciation, but again, it doesn't impress me as being a great real estate investor. I just would need more information. But just based on what I know, I would say neither one of them, not so good.
And I'm aggressively invest in mutual funds. I put a lot of money in them, but my portfolio, once I gave myself...
Yeah, if he's invested in mutual funds, then he must not have a very good portfolio or success in investing in real estate, because he wouldn't be throwing it in mutual funds if he was really good at real estate.
What's going to be neat is pay for real estate, the company that I own, and mutual funds. I don't own any high risk anything.
Sure.
And I'm okay with it growing a little slower and not being sexy or fancy and all that. So that would...
See, you have the option of growing slow when you make a shitload of money from your job. And so I appreciate the honesty. I really do appreciate the honesty. But a lot of people can't read between the lines and understand exactly, and put it together in context. That's what I'm trying to give you some context here.
Parlay into, number one, be you. And you're really, really gifted in the real estate world. Unusually gifted. So.
No, he's a gifted YouTuber. He's not gifted at real estate.
Run with it. You're going to make more money there than you'll ever make in stocks and mutual funds.
That I agree. He's just really talking about him investing. Obviously, he's already done better. He's probably made more money on the real estate than he's probably going to make the rest of his life in stocks. We'll see.
What are your thoughts on keeping that much cash, though, and not paying off the mortgages?
I have never met a wealthy person, even if they made some money using leverage, which you have done successfully, that regretted having no debt once they got there. So I've met a lot of people that did what you did, and then they said, you know what, it served its purpose, I'm paying it off. My net worth is exactly the same on the balance sheet. Just switch on the TV, right? And you?
So actually, now that's an interesting question, but really this is basic math, and I'm surprised neither one of them said it. There's a new video. Graham doesn't need to pay off the real estate. If he's going to sell it, if he's selling his property, he's going to pay it off. If he's talking about the stuff that he's keeping, then, if he's paying 2.5% interest, there's really no reason to pay 2.5% interest, real estate interest off, those loans off, because he can get 4% on government-backed bonds right now on his cash than what he's paying on some of those interest rates. So it wouldn't make sense to pay off. It'd be better just hang on to the cash, and I would go buy some more real estate and leverage it, just buy it right.
You will feel it leave your body. You'll feel your body change. It's whacked.
Can you explain that feeling to me? Because I look at that logically and I think paying off a 2.875% mortgage on, let's say, a rental property in California that's a write-off against the income, below inflation, I have such a hard time logically overcoming that barrier, even though I have a feeling maybe mentally it might be relieving.
So
So that's the thing. He's talking about emotionally, and I'm going to give Graham a lot of credit on this. Emotionally, that's not business. Business is business. Business is logic, okay? And so to Graham's credit, I'm impressed, Graham. I'm impressed. I've been hard on you in the past, but I'm impressed. Yeah, don't pay it off. It doesn't make sense. It just doesn't make any financial sense because it is so low, and you got the write-offs that you got. But again, it doesn't make any sense because you can make more than 2.5% with your cash in a very safe investment anyways with zero risk. And I'm not even talking about real estate.
You got there, you've got a good set of logic, good set of critical thinking if you're looking at that way. There's nothing wrong with that scenario, except the math that you're using has zero mathematical representation of risk. Paid for property has less risk than a property with any kind of debt. Your magic sauce is not that.
I mean, you can say that there's no risk in having it paid off. If you owe very little, there really is no risk in having very little debt either. I mean, if you owe very little on your property, it's no different than owing something or owing nothing on your property. Because if you get in a position where you got to sell it, it isn't going to matter. You've still got the residual. You got the balance.
Magic sauce is your ability to do deals that are strikingly awesome. That's where
I have not seen any strikingly awesome deals that he has. So that makes me think that, like I said, I mean, and Graham, you did okay. You doubled your money on one property, and I appreciate the duplex deal that you did. Appreciate the first property that you bought when you were a young man. First one you bought made sense. I remember seeing that one. You paid $70 and it was worth $270. That was a good investment. The other stuff didn't look so good. When I was looking at the Kevin O'Leary video you did a while back, for Dave to be impressed with that portfolio just tells me that Dave is not a real estate guy. He's just definitely not a real estate investor. I don't mean that he doesn't own property. I mean that he's not what I would call a good investor. He's somebody that could make money in real estate. I mean, if he makes his money the way he makes it, and it's not as an investor. Yeah, and so, and I would agree with that last statement that he made. I would get rid of that stuff, and I would throw it into commercial as well. Let's listen to this closeout.
So you guys, thank you so much for watching. Also, feel free to add me on Instagram, and don't forget that you can get all the way up to $10,000 as a bonus when you sign up at public.com/Ram using the link down below in the description, depending on how much you transfer from another brokerage. And also, you can get all the way up to $100 worth of free crypto when you sign up for FTX US, also down below in the description.
Now this kind of makes me sick. Why would you recommend crypto, Graham? Really? Why would you recommend anybody buy crypto? You're upside down on crypto. It's terrible. But all right. So hey, good job, Graham. I appreciate your honesty. I always do. He you know, one thing I'll say about Graham is he's one thing I'll say about Graham is, let me get back to this freaking thing. Let's get back to this.
And there's my debt, $4 million.
All right. So, yeah, anyways, I was just going to say, hey, good job, Graham. I appreciate your honesty. I appreciate you and your portfolio, which is of interest to a lot of people.